class, this is Mrs. Leach. You can't see me on this video, but this is the easiest way for us to film this lesson is by just looking at the papers here. So our learning target for our GeoBoard fractions lesson is I can represent fractions and mixed numbers using GeoBoards and dot paper. You might be wondering what a GeoBoard is. This right here is a GeoBoard. It's a board with pegs, and we use rubber bands to represent fractions on it. Right now I have a 1 by 4 rectangle shown here. That's my whole. We have 1 by 4. I've divided it up into fourths, and my colored rubber bands are showing 1, 2, 3/4 are kind of shaded or represented here. So the fraction shown right here is 3/4. So back to our learning target, we said we were going to use GeoBoards and dot paper. So if this is the GeoBoard representation of 3/4, here is the dot paper representation of 3/4. So I've drawn a 2 by 4 rectangle here. If you can see the 2 dots going this way and 4 going this way. So I've divided my rectangle into fourths, and I'm going to shade in 3 of them to show 3/4. My whole rectangle is a 2 by 4 rectangle, and I've divided it into 3/4. Here are some more examples. I have a 2 by 3 rectangle for both of my examples here. That represents one whole. Okay, so I want to show 2/3 on this rectangle. So first I divided my rectangle into thirds, and I need to shade in 2 of them. On this rectangle, I want to show 5/6. So it's the same size rectangle for my whole. It's a 2 by 3 rectangle, but I want to show 5/6, so I've divided it, instead of into thirds, I've divided it into sixths. So I'm going to shade how many? I'm going to shade 5. Okay, so that's how we use dot paper to represent a fraction. Now there's a very important rule about using dot paper and GeoBoards. That's right, our rule is no diagonals. So we cannot have diagonal lines anywhere in our fractions on our GeoBoards and dot paper. So here we have rectangle A, B, C, and D. I wonder if you can tell which one is breaking our no diagonals rule. A is divided, they're all divided into halves, equal halves. That's also very important that we have equal size parts in our fractions that we represent on these. And they all do. This one's fine, there's no diagonal lines, they're just straight horizontal and vertical lines. This one's just a straight horizontal line, but C has a diagonal line and D has a diagonal line. So those ones are bad. We do not want those kind of rectangles. We do not want diagonal lines, ever. Okay? Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is we can even represent fractions that are greater than one whole. So this fraction, we wanted to represent 4/3, which is the same as 1 1/3. This is our improper fraction, and this is our mixed number. We have a 4 by 3 rectangle representing one whole here. And what I've done, the pink is the 4 by 3 rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3. So I've divided that into thirds, but we want 4/3, not 3/3. So I've added on another third to show one whole and 1/3. So for this one, I have to shade in all of them. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and 4/3, or 1 1/3. So that is how you use dot paper and geoboards to represent fractions.